Andy Finch from Finch Filtration Systems Pond. Say hi, Andy.
Hi.
You love being on the video because you've been on chips recently.
Oh,
so
yeah.
So just have a quick look at your pond, or a quick talk about its size and everything else, because it's a bit special in some of the way that you run it. So go on then. So how many gallons are it?
5,500.
And filtration?
Drum filter, 1.5 metre set of Bakki shell, double set, with 240 kilos of BHM, and a K1 filter with 350 litres of K1.
And we just had a quick count up. We think there's about 30 fish.
Yeah, I think there's too many uses.
I think it looks all right. I mean, what do people think? I think it looks okay, but obviously got an auto feeder, and we just quickly talked. You've turned that down because they were absolutely smashing it, yeah?
Yeah, that's filling it up every other day, so it's probably, was it 2 kilos, 2.5, I don't know.
Yeah, and
a lot of food.
Well, you've got some lumps in the pond. That big chag, what do you think that is? 85?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
There it is.
Yeah. Got more stomach than it has body, like it's probably like me.
It's an absolute beast anyway, for sure. Heated?
Yeah, heated gas boiler from a garage through heat coils inside the drum. And it's heated at now 22.5, I think it is.
And what kind of regime do you follow with that? Just
down
20?
To 12. No, it just follow the temperatures. No,
okay.
Don't go mad with it. Probably 12 degrees in the winter time with covers on. So it's heated through the winter at 12.
You keep to 22 for the summer.
Yeah, temperatures go up. I just chase the temperatures up with a stat, and that's it. Cheaper way of doing it.
Yeah, gas is probably the cheapest.
Yeah, yeah.
Long term, as a yearly thing rather than like electric and any kind of electric.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, the special kind of thing with your pond is you recycle your pond water through an RO system.
Yeah.
Now, I don't really know a lot about this, so but we'll have a look in your filter room in a minute.
We'll look in there.
We're going. That's it. It's all warts today.
Yeah.
So you're recycling your pond water through an RO system.
Yeah.
So how much actual water are you using? Because I presume this is to cut down the amount of water you're using and then get a better quality water. Is that right?
Yeah. I've got an RO system in there as well.
Right.
So I've got 2 RO systems, one off the mains because I'm not on a water meter. But I prefer to run the pond one, recycling pond water, because the parameters are a lot better from it, cheaper. If you was paying on a water meter, it'd save you money. I mean, the waste out of this is probably 0.6 litres of waste to 5 litres of pure water.
Okay.
So it's a massive difference to a normal RO unit, as it's normally 6 litre pump uses 3 litres of pure, 3 litres of waste. So the ratios are a lot better. And of course, you get the pond down to the parameters you want to do. So if you've got a pH of 7 or 7.2, it's a lot easier to deal with an RO unit.
Now, I know you've been running RO for quite a few years, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah.
You're obviously a strong advocate for it.
Yeah, yeah.
And we were saying about like things like skin issues and like knocks and stuff. You found over the years that the fish have healed a lot quicker.
Yeah, yeah. I've said before on other videos that I've never had my fish out for years. All my treatments are out of date. I've got nothing in date now. Just let them go on with it.
Yeah.
Get a knock, waste scale. I mean, if it's necrotic, you're going to have to take it out. But if it's just got a knock, just leave it. It'll heal. Water parameters are good. I mean, I've just put a treatment in here, so it's not as good now. It was running at 100 TDS and a pH of 7. Now the TDS is at 200 because of the treatment was in there, and the pH is at 7.2 because I've turned off the RO. You can't run that RO recycling system with a treatment.
Because it will strip it out, I presume, won't it?
Out of the pond.
I mean, your water is, I don't. It's hard to come across probably on video, but the actual water clarity, I know you said you're probably quite hard on it because it's your pond, but I think the quality of that water is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's not as good as it was.
Yeah, I think you're doing yourself a bit of an injustice there. But the actual, I mean, I presume because you're recycling it as well, it takes out more any kind of particles in the water that a drum wouldn't take out as well.
Yeah, so it comes out of the drum at 70 micron. And it's coming out the RO at nothing. So it's going into the RO at 5 parts per million, at 5 micron, and it's coming out the RO with everything taken out of it. So if you've got any ammonia, nitrate, anything in the water, it'll strip everything out. So water's a lot better. Clarity's good, but I mean, I've had PP in here, you wouldn't believe it. I've had a PP treatment and a fluke treatment in here. PP treatment went in Wednesday and a fluke treatment went in here yesterday.
Yeah.
And that's what the water clarity is now.
Yeah, and I think personally that is unbelievable good clarity, even though you're saying it's not quite where it normally is, but even so, it's I think it's very good. You were saying about you only run one of the air, you've only got one of the airs on because the other one's a bit.
Yeah, the other one's a bit fierce with the pump. I've got a bleed on that, but I don't want to run too much air, so they're happy with that. If I put in a treatment in, obviously both domes are on and it's running full pelt. But I've got a dead spot at the end of the pond, and you can probably see some muck settling out just beyond the drain.
Yeah.
So that's on a timer, and it comes on about 5 in the morning, goes off at 6.
And then clears it all up, no doubt.
It clears it up when it comes on, it boils the water up, clears it, and that's it, done. So then I've just have it as it is now, and the fish seem a lot more settled as well. They're not as buzzing about. They're a lot more chilled out, I think, without that air on. Obviously you've got to have air on in the pond, and especially with these temperatures what we've got today, because you suffer from oxygen depletion in the water, and that's not good for fish anyway. So yeah, I've got my showers as well. That's putting air into the pond because that's smashing the water as well.
I presume you're putting quite a lot over the showers?
I've turned it down now. It was at full pelt with a flow friend, and that's a lot of water. I've turned it down.
What, like 50,000 litres an hour over it or something ridiculous?
I don't know what it is.
It's all RPMs in it with a flow friend.
It's 23,000 RPM. So
a lot.
Yeah, that's the maximum. It won't run higher than that. That's through a 3-inch pipe.
And you thought that was too much? Possibly.
I was running like that, and I was talking to somebody else and you don't need it that fast. So I've turned it down, and it's still okay. So yeah, it's working well, I think.
And as soon as we're looking at the fish, favourite fish? I know you've got a few sentimental ones, haven't you?
Well, I've got one in here what's 28 years old. That's from the original pond build in Sargi. It's a bit speckly now with black speckles on its back. But I suppose the carcoo, what is down there in the corner down here, that on the side of that Sargi.
The big carcoo here.
Down there, yeah, that was runner up the East of England show in size 6 a few years ago. Runner up to mature champion. The winner of that class was Mark Wall, and he won mature champion with his
Patch.
carcoo. I don't know,
Was
it
it
might have
Patch?
been Patch. And that was runner up to it, so yeah. It was
And the bigger Sargi doesn't want to play ball now, it's over there, I think.
yeah, there's 3 Sargi in here, it's just coming this way now. That's 28 years old.
I'm not, yeah.
Bit black and speckly now. Probably the bargain of the pond is the one down here. This is Sargi down here, £65 from a national auction a few years ago.
Unbelievable. It's got to be about 65, 70 as well,
yeah,
isn't it, that
yeah.
thing?
Yeah, it was only about 25 cm when I got it. Some fish in here from Adam Bayer.
Yeah, we're just
carcoos.
talking about them. A lot of these.
Yeah,
That one.
yeah. And most of these carcoos are in here. I think there's only a couple. Gimrin ones aren't from Adam, but the rest of them, barring the big one at the bottom, I think they're all from Adam.
We got some of them, didn't we, at the
Yeah, with the grow and show.
grow and show in the Koi
Clifton
Club, didn't
Valley.
we?
That was a few years ago. But the ones at the back, I mean, they must be 3 years old now, and the body's looking good on them.
The Benny's good on them as well, isn't it?
Benny's immaculate. And if there was to net one and bring it up, the Shiroji on them, it's like snow. Fantastic. And for the money, you come in.
Yeah, I think
that's
the
what
grow and
it's
show was only, was it something stupid like?
£49.
It was ridiculous. I know he
Yeah.
probably did it cheap because it was a club thing, but
Yeah.
even so, 50 quid for a fish,
Yeah.
which, I mean, looking
Yeah.
at yours, and even though I've got one, mine's nowhere near as good as the guys you've got, but it's not often you can buy a fish for 50 quid and it
No,
sort of
so
get to
now-
50 cm, still have some kind of decent quality.
Yeah. It's going well. I haven't bought anything that's typical of a fish jumping out when he's talking about and stuff. But it's going well. The fish are doing well. I'm not bought any in this year. Bought some last year.
Well, you're a bit busy this year with other things.
Yeah.
With here we go, look. And as we talked to earlier, we haven't got a website yet, but there will be a website, and when I get it, I'll put it in the description below anyway. In fact, any kind of pond filtration needs, not even just RO recycling, just normal water purification. I think Andy's the man at the minute.
Yeah,
You can do it all.
Yeah. I think I've got, as I said earlier, I've got 13 different types of carbon. That's in canisters, in cartridges for 3-stage and 4-stage, or 1-stage, 2-stage, whatever purifiers you've got. And I've got cartridges for all them, sediment filters, pleated washables, 3 different types of loose.
All right. I think what he's saying is, if you need something to purify your pond,
everything,
give him a shout.
Yes.
He has got a Facebook page. I'll put that in the link below anyway. He needs to be your first stop, really. Andy, doesn't he? You're not just buying the product, you're buying knowledge as well, because like you said earlier, you're willing to help anybody and everyone.
If you've got a problem with your water, whether you've got chlorine, chloramine, whatever it is, I've got stuff to deal with it.
There's junk in all sorts of water nowadays, isn't there?
There is loads of it.
Alright, so we'll go and have a look in your filter room. It's probably going to be a bit noisy in there, no doubt, with the shower.
It is.
So we'll have a look and maybe talk about some of it outside, but we'll have a look inside just to show the awesomeness of the filter room, which is actually behind in this section here.
All this moss off the shower, because it's a bit.
Oh, that's alright, isn't it?
It needs cleaning.
Is that a bit more? Okay. So there's your drum.
Yeah.
So double width Bakki, like we said, with an absolute mountain of moss and BHM. I presume that's your K1 in there.
Yeah, that's K1 chain, but that Profi drums, they're one of the original Profi drums that come in the country. Wants to clean as well, as you can see, but
I think the moss adds character.
Yeah, it is a bit. Water purification is there on the wall there, just for normal water, and down on the floor behind the door is a vessel and another purifier. Normal RO system there as well, that's PLC controlled, and with recycling systems underneath the showers.
So because you're recycling some pond water, I don't think I've actually even asked you this myself, how much fresh water from a tap is actually going in the pond?
When it's running, the system runs once every 2 hours.
This is just an RO system?
Just an RO system, runs once every 2 hours. When the RO switches on, that puts in purified tap water to replace the waste, because if I was taking water out of the pond and putting it down a drain, I'd empty the pond.
Yeah.
So when the RO comes on, there's a digital flow meter on the purified tap which mimics what's going to waste from the RO.
Right.
So that tap water goes in, so in an hour I'm putting in 6 times 0.6 per litre, or 60 times that, 0.6 per litre. So it's not a lot, not
3 or 4 litres or something.
300 litres in it.
300, okay, yeah. I can't do maths.
60,
no.
60 litres, yeah, it's 30 litres, yeah. 30 litres, just over 30 litres. So that's all I'm putting into the pond. The rest of it is all RO, what's coming out of the pond, through the RO, back into the pond purified.
So obviously you have to clean the filters for that, the actual membrane and the pre-filter, or do the pre-filters take...
Yeah, the membranes do take a hit if you get it wrong, as you've probably seen in another video. But the pre-filters are pleated washables.
I'd see you doing that at Chips actually with jetting it out.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't be bothered to do it.
Yeah. So the water comes from the float friend, there's a tee off the float friend, round an inch pipe to the pre-filters, through 2 pre-filters and then into the RO.
Right.
And they're cleaned out about once, on mine probably once every 2 or 3 weeks, because the RO's passing a bit of muck through it, so yeah, and it works well. Parameters are good. I mean, at the moment, as I said, I've had a treatment in here, so the TDS has gone up to 210 look. pH is at 7.1, my tap water pH.
I don't know if I'll see that, but yeah, at the end there.
Yeah, so the tap water pH is 8.4, the pond is running at 7.1. So yeah, it all works well.
And the advantages for running a lower pH?
Yeah, softer water, better for the fish. And ammonia as well.
Obviously less toxic.
Yeah, less toxic at a lower pH, so if I was running at 8.4, and I've got any ammonia in my pond, that's really detrimental to fish. So at a lower pH, it's not as toxic.
Yeah.
So that's why I prefer to do that.
What about things like KH as well? Because that's going to take a hit, isn't it?
KH is on mine's around about 0.5 to 1. People worry about pH crashes. They don't happen overnight.
I suppose if you've got that visual controller on the wall, you can see that.
That's only one guide. That's a guide. So if I walked here and it was at 6.9, I'd get out a test kit and test it. So I get a handheld multimeter out, test the two together, test the KH, and if I needed to buffer it by either adding more tap water to the RO mix or put some bicarb in, I'd do that.
Not happen very often, if ever?
No.
It's still pretty stable then?
Yeah. I mean, I can mix that mix. That's just at the moment going in to replace the waste. If I want to up my pH on my pond, I just open that mix up. It's on a needle valve, so I can adjust it. You'll see with a digital flow meter how much is going in, and I can just adjust it to whatever I want it to go in. So it's at the moment 0.6 litre, 2 litres, whatever you want to put in it.
We were talking about your tap water parameters earlier,
yeah,
and they're shocking here, aren't they?
Yeah.
Is that what got you into RO in the first place,
Yeah,
do you think?
it was.
Because your tap...
8.4 my tap,
yeah,
pH, TDS at 460.
Which is extremely high, isn't it?
It's not as high as I've heard it before. I've heard a lot higher than that since I've been doing this job, but it is high, and I don't. It's not good. I mean, you don't need cement to build a pond with this water.
Yeah, because it's rock hard. Yeah. Well, 8.4 out of tap is silly high. Mine comes out about just over or just under 8, depending on temperature. My TDS is 200 out the tap.
Yeah, that's not too bad, is it?
But my KH is high, my GH is very high as well. But that's normal, isn't it?
I've got a KH of about 10 to 12 and a GH of 22. So it is hard, it's rock hard.
So it doesn't come out the tap, you have to shovel it out.
Yeah, it's not good. Not good at all. That's why I started off doing RO for a start, and I did RO for a number of years, and I got a Pyrex jug. And I got some water out of the pond one day. There was a group of people around here, got a Pyrex jug, and I said, look at that, I can RO that. You're mad. Anyway, I've done it, so it's working now. I've installed it on other people's ponds. I've got some more to do. It works well. You've got to be careful with it. You can't put it on as a treatment in the pond. Obviously, we're talking about stripping it out. Yeah. But it also block the membranes up. You just put that, leave it switched on with potassium in the pond, and then all the muck what comes from potassium, all the organic stuff that comes out of it, that will just block a membrane up straight away. So you wouldn't want to put it on with that on. Malachite and formalin, what's the point of putting a treatment in it? It's going to take it straight out of the water. Yeah. You just need to use your brain, I suppose. But again, if you're out treating the pond anyway, you're going to be in and around the area after you put treatment in anyway. So just a switch and turn it off. That's all right, no, it's neatish. You've done what you worried about. No, it's a bit mucky at the moment. All of that crap there, but we won't talk about that. Yeah, there's crap all over the place. It's a filter room, isn't it? Just shut the door and be done with it. No flies in there. The plants eat the flies. I did see them. Pretty. Yeah. Good idea. Yeah. All works well. All right. Shut her up. What you got there? Business card. Yeah. And that's what it's like on the back. Oh, very posh. Who designed the logo? Not me. Somebody else. That's good, isn't it? Yeah, it's good. It worked out well. And the beauty of that was I could sketch sending it back until it was right. So didn't pay until it was done. And when it was done, it was accepted, and I got designs back. Got my t-shirt printed. Got the business. My only concern is it's white. When you get wet, it goes see-through. Yeah, don't worry about it. Well, it will be if you're at my house and you get wet, and then they're going to give me a scare. It's good. It's coming along. So website, hopefully will be sorted out soon. But it'll be done when it's done. You can't rush it, can you? Because it's not you doing it. So. No. If I had that knowledge, I wouldn't be doing anything else. I haven't got that knowledge. You wouldn't be into koi. You'd be into websites. Yeah. Anyway, so that's pretty much Andy's pond and setup. If you've got any questions, please post them below and I'll contact Andy and get answers, because I know
recycling RO is a bit technical, and I've got no idea about that, other than for cleaning windows. So thanks to Andy for having me over, as per usual. It's always a great time down there with an amazing pond. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
We'll catch you again, Andy.
Yeah, no problem.
Bye.
Bye.